to hurl this one in towards the near post, towards Mosquera. Dealt with initially by Chelsea. Eze brings it down on the edge of the box and feeds it across to Saka. Chance here for Bukayo Saka. Big save from Sanchez. And that is the first opening of the game. And a really important intervention from Robert Sanchez. João Pedro tries to storm away. That's another card. Mosquera this time, who's caught out of position as he tried to sprint back and challenge João Pedro. Really good strength initially from the Chelsea striker to get away from Saka. He tried to drag him down initially, and then Mosquera just barrels into him from behind. 3 cards with less than 15 minutes on the clock, and you might be sensing that there could be red here before the end of proceedings. Saka's opportunity there, takes it really well, just on the angle in the right hand side of the penalty area, keeps it down, and Sanchez sticks out a boot to deny him. It's a poor clearance from Sanchez. Zubimendi hoists it back in. Chelsea appeal for offside here, and eventually the flag does go up. Arsenal just not quick enough to clear back out of the box, and Mikel Merino hauled back by the officials. That was poor from Robert Sanchez. Doesn't get nearly enough distance on it, and clear offside there against 2 Arsenal players. It's Rice and Merino who'd stayed inside the box. And Chelsea will get us back restarted. A quiet start to the game for João Pedro, but a real example of exactly what he can do. Got pace to burn on the counter-attack, and Mosquera clearly concerned despite how far away he was from the Arsenal goal. He may well feel that he had little choice but to foul him in that situation, and unfortunately that means he's on a warning for the rest of the game. Sanchez again, poor ball forward, but Estevao just about gets there in front of Declan Rice inside the centre circle. Lovely bit of skill to dip away from his fellow number 41. James now goes down under the challenge of Euriche Eze. No foul this time, says the referee. Good turn inside the centre circle, Martinelli, but loses out to Caicedo. Fofana will get across in right back for Chelsea to deal with that one. Chalobah. Just over 15 minutes gone here if you're a little late joining us after a busy afternoon schedule in the Premier League. Saka tries to outfox the Chelsea defence with a quick ball into the box there, but it's dealt with by Chalobah. No goals, Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Just that one saved attempt from Saka, denied by Sanchez so far. Cards are plenty though. Cucurella, Zubimendi and Mosquera all in Anthony Taylor's notebook. Here goes Estevao. He's got space to get away down the right hand side, tries to find Neto. Really important challenge there from Declan Rice. Timed it perfectly to go to ground against Neto. Looking to pull the trigger from the edge of the 6-yard line, and Rice back in position. Does that job so effectively, Declan Rice, when the 2 centre-backs need him. Normally it's Saliba and Gabriel. With that unfamiliar pairing of Hincapié and Mosquera, ever more important for Rice to be right place, right time, and he certainly was there. Here's Fernandes, spins away on the halfway line into the feet of Neto, who's hassled by Julian Timber. A throw in for Arsenal. Their right back spot just in front of the halfway line, just in front of Mikel Arteta, who having a few words with Neto and Timber there. She's been told to step back inside his technical area, the Arsenal boss. Saka gets out in front of Cucurella again. Spins it over to the left-hand side for Calafiori. Here's Mosquera. It's evident that every time Arsenal get the ball and they're trying to move forward, Rice will go back in and sit alongside Mosquera and Hincapié, with Calafiori and Timber instructed to go high and wide. Almost a nice little zipped ball into the centre circle for Zubimendi to Merino, but Merino didn't quite read that one. Fernandes will take over. it is Esteban. Just tries to step away from Calafiori. And to throw in for Chelsea. João Pedro knocks that on for Esteban. Pedro will go beyond him. Tries to steer the cross into the box. It falls for Esteban. Skied by the Brazilian. And that's Chelsea's best chance of the game so far. He drives on the crowd behind David Raya's goal. I think he knows he should have done better there, Esteban. Great run down this right-hand side from João Pedro. Mosquera gets the block in initially and just sits up perfectly for Esteban. 12 yards out. Maybe he's just trying to get too much power into that one. It's spun back perfectly for him. He didn't need to overhit that one. He tries to stick his laces right through the ball, and he succeeds in firing it over the top of Raya's crossbar. Chelsea with a little burst of attacking threat there. Clearance away over the halfway line for Arsenal. Martinelli loses out to Fofana. Eze will get there just before Caicedo in the centre circle, but needed support there and lost out eventually. Chelsea worked that one back to Robert Sanchez. Here's Chalobah, the edge of his own penalty area to Caicedo. Now James, nice little passage of play this from Chelsea. Malo Gusto just drifted in off that right hand side over the halfway line for Esteban. He wants to get at Calafiori, cuts inside Esteban, and again high wide and not so handsome from the Brazilian. Good angle there, 25 yards out, just shapes it in onto his left foot, and Calafiori not quite able to deal with him so far. Nothing he could do about it, but Raya confident just to watch that whistle over the angle of post and bar. Two chances in quick succession for the 18-year-old. Here's Mosquera. Just rolls that along the... As the youngster is forced to do a bit of defending. Gusto will go up against Martinelli. Now back with Calafiori. Chelsea players are appealing for handball there. Nothing doing in the opinion of Anthony Taylor. Here's Rice to Eze on the halfway line. That seems to be the strategy from Mikel Arteta. Allow Rice to drop a little bit deeper. Eze will pull in as a number 8 alongside Zubamendi and give Saka and Martinelli the license to step in as needed. Zubamendi, that's an ambitious ball out to Calafiori and gives away a throw in for Chelsea. Burst of pace out of defence there from Chalobah. Fofana, James adopted a similar strategy to Rice for Arsenal, just dropping in, trying to link with Fofana and Chalobah and get Chelsea moving in a positive direction. Long ball pinged over the halfway line from Sanchez. Calafiori gets there before Esteban. There's two Arsenal players gone down inside the centre circle here. Eze caught Zubamendi on Enzo Fernandez. It's the longest period of the game that we've gone without a booking. Ball over the top, quickly played in there. João Pedro just not able to link up with Enzo Fernandez as he wanted. Fernandez has left one on. An Arsenal player there inside the centre, inside the Arsenal penalty. I think it's Jurien Timber who's chasing back there to complete the clearance. Back on his feet now though. It's quick thinking that from João Pedro, just to try and loft the ball in for Fernandez, who's always a willing runner from midfield. Saka wins out again up against Cucurella. Mikel Arteta and Enzo Maresca both straight out of their technical areas to park instructions at the two players in front of them. So the Quarter of the game gone here. No goals. No great excitement at either end, really. Estevao off target twice and Saka denied by Sanchez. It's been very tight, very cagey. Chelsea defensive have been so solid in recent weeks. They've kept 3 successive Premier League clean sheets, shut out Burnley, Wolves and Tottenham. As I mentioned, Barcelona on Tuesday evening. And here they come again. It's Estevao once more down the right, but that's a poor ball forward. Gusto had stormed beyond him. Just overcooked that pass and a goal kick for Arsenal. We have just been shown a replay of that challenge from Timber as he recovered on Enzo Fernandez. Vital bit of defending from the Dutchman. Fernandez not in control of the ball as it dropped, but real front foot piece of marking from Jurrien Timber. Now Estevao again. He's got space to dink across into the box. It's an easy take for Raya. Becoming more and more influential in this game, the former Palmeiras man. For a goal kick for Chelsea. Sanchez with the restart. Again, that long ball deep into Arsenal territory, aimed at Pedro, and it's dealt with by Mosquera and Zubimendi. Mosquera will look to step forward into the centre circle for Eze. He's pushed to the floor there. And Moises Caicedo, who's been chasing down and chasing around. Clear foul there, hands in the back of Eze, and could well be the next player to have his name taken. He's just been given a warning, final warning probably, by Anthony Taylor. A free kick for Arsenal, midway inside their own half, just right of centre for Mosquera to toss that forward up towards Saka. Cucurella wins the first contact, cleared away by the Spaniard, but it's another foul right in the middle of the Chelsea half. This time Merino almost climbing on the back of Caicedo. Difficult to see where the spark comes from in this one. A few little forays and jinks and twists from Estevao over on the Chelsea right. Bukayo Saka always a threat for Arsenal down there, right flank. Very little for Sanchez or Raya, the two Spanish goalkeepers, to occupy themselves so far. Here is David Raya. Nice rolled ball into the centre circle for Calafiori. He's chased all the way across the pitch though by Reece James. Really good work here from James, and Calafiori's come across, pulled him down. Another card. It's 3 for Arsenal now. Calafiori, who's a long way from home there, who's come all the way across from left to right. James just too quick, too powerful for him. As he gets in front of him, and the Italian pulls him down. No real other option there for Anthony Taylor but to issue another booking for Arsenal. And they've got themselves a free kick to defend here. A chance for Chelsea to bring the big men forward. 35-40 yards from goal, just left of centre. It'll be James and Neto over this one. just stolen a few yards to bring that a little bit closer to the goal. Neto will curl it in towards the penalty spot, headed away by Jurien Timber. João Pedro will chase after it over on the Chelsea right hand side, just in front of the corner flag. Calafiori to put the pressure on. Pedro trying to work an angle here to get a cross in, and eventually it's Calafiori who gets his toe on that one. And despite the Chelsea appeals, that's going to be a goal kick for the away side. Right call from the referee as well. Calafiori gets the tackle, but just stubs the toe of João Pedro before spinning off. Raya direct this time. Just spotted the run from Timber, who'd bombed past Bukayo Saka. Robert Sanchez will just volley that back over the halfway line and out for a throw-in. Chelsea players not happy with Mikel Arteta there, who kicked the ball back onto the pitch to allow Jurien Timber to come all the way back into his own half to take it, and Enzo Fernandez just warned by the referee there. Mikel Arteta getting a talking to from the fourth official, Sam Barrett, as well. And Timber will get us back underway. Just tiptoes over the halfway line to take this one. Not happy with how long Timber took to take that, and we've had here in the first 30 minutes. I'm chalking that one down as an opportunity for Chelsea. They've not had too many. João Pedro there, maybe just taken a bit by surprise for the error by Hincapié, right on the edge of his own penalty area, and Arsenal just get numbers back in an instant, and Pedro can't get a shot away, and Hincapié breathes a big sigh of relief there. And Pedro just takes that as quickly as he can. He might have had a better opportunity to test David Raya. Danger averted for Arsenal. Here is Raya. Left-footed up to the halfway line. One back by Calafiori. Tries to roll that into the feet of Bukayo Saka. Nice little layoff from Saka, who's looking for Cucurella, who'd looking to get away from Cucurella rather. And it's dealt with by Chelsea. A breakaway down their right-hand side. Estival up against Hincapié. Wants to get in on that left foot. Rolled off to Fernandez. Straight at David Raya. That's Chelsea's first attempt on target of the game. They're starting to grow a little bit more into the ascendancy here, the home side. It's been pretty much level pegging. They've had the better of it in the last 5 minutes or so, and Saka not happy with Cucurella in the opportunity for Arsenal at the other end. Chelsea quick as a flash on the front foot. Estival causing problems again, and 22, 23 yards from goal. Can't really get any shape on that, Enzo Fernandez. Easily fielded by David Raya. Here's Mosquera. Arsenal looking to build out from the edge of their own penalty. That's a really poor ball into the centre circle, cut out by Chelsea, quickly worked to João Pedro. 4 Arsenal players around him on the edge of the box. Loses out. Here comes Jurriën Timber. Saka chased in field by Cucurella and fouled by Cucurella. And the Arsenal players have gone straight to the referee here. And you know what they're asking for, Cucurella. That's his 4th foul on Bukayo Saka by my count, and he's already on a card. And Taylor's just making the point to Bukayo Saka that possibly has one final life left. Marc Cucurella. Again, it's another captain's powwow. And Saka furious there as he's clearly being targeted by Cucurella. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I do get the sense that we'll see Anthony Taylor reaching for a red at some point. Keeps it at 11v11 for now. There's actually a Premier League record for Arsenal. 3 bookings inside the first 30 minutes of a Premier League game. That's the first time it's happened in the Premier League, based on records that go back to 2006-2007. 2 players gone down here. Caicedo and Mikel Merino play on for the moment, says the referee. They're both hurt and both appealing for medical attention here. Taylor will have to bring a halt to proceedings. It's a 50-50 between the 2 players, certainly on first glance. Taylor will get the medics on first before deciding how to deal with this and see who was potentially in the wrong. Both players going for the ball, and as it was quickly popped off and Arsenal tried to build forward, we're relying on a replay just to assess exactly what went down. Caicedo seems to be in more pain. A poor touch initially from Mikel Merino, and Caicedo's gone clattering in on the Arsenal man. I think as the dust settles on that one, there could be a big decision incoming for Anthony Taylor. It's a shocking challenge from Moises Caicedo. He catches Mikel Merino over the top of the ball. And he's not one of the players who's been cautioned so far, but as Arteta calls his players over here, Anthony Taylor just asking Bukayo Saka to give him a moment as he's in conversation with his 2 VAR officials, John Brooks and Eddie Smart. Caicedo did seem to hurt himself in making that challenge, but that might not necessarily save him if his feet here. Anthony Taylor so far has not been instructed to double check this by the pitch side monitor. Caicedo is also back up. Plenty to unpick here for the man in the middle. The man who's been right at the centre of everything so far today, Anthony Taylor, and he's got a yellow card out, so it appears as if Caicedo's going to get away with a caution here. And that is the decision from Anthony Taylor. 5th of the game so far, 2nd for Chelsea. And for my money, Moises Caicedo is slightly fortunate on that one. Anthony Taylor here. He's just telling Moises Caicedo to step back because there has been a word in his ear that he needs to come and take a look at this. And we all know in the Premier League, certainly so far this season, what that generally means. Yellow card is the initial call from the referee. Certainly on the replays that we've been shown. It certainly is a case for this to be checked for serious foul play, and that is the word that's been handed down to Anthony Taylor by Brooks and Eddie Smart. Booking as it stands, will that be upgraded? My view is this is a red, but it's the opinion of Anthony Taylor that is the most important. Marino just pops it off too quickly for Caicedo. He's coming in to block the ball, and the force that he goes into Marino with. This has to be a red card, surely. Anthony Taylor just double checking here with his VAR officials. Stamford Bridge stands in tension, and the red card is out, and Caicedo is gone. A look of absolute incredulity on the face of Moises Caicedo. He can't quite believe it. He's been told not to go back onto the pitch by the fourth official, Sam Barrett. It's a shocking challenge for the Chelsea midfielder. Reece James and Enzo Fernandez just straight over to Anthony Taylor, but James is just getting an explanation over the detail behind the decision. Caicedo, as I mentioned, has hurt himself in making that challenge that's ended his afternoon before half-time here. Doesn't seem to be any significant damage to Mikel Merino, but Chelsea are down 2-10. It's been a game that's been bubbling and boiling. Caicedo sees red, he's gone. Chelsea will have to play the remaining 5 minutes of the first half and the whole of the second with 10 men. After that really, really nasty challenge. No indication of a substitution for Enzo Maresca at this stage. He might just look to hold on until half-time. Be a fairly significant chunk of added minutes you'd expect, but 40 on the clock here. And play is going to restart over on that far left-hand side with a throw-in for Arsenal, which, based on that lengthy call made to send off Caicedo, seems like a lifetime ago. Rice into the near post, headed back out to Declan Rice. Roll back to the halfway line for Martin Zubamendi. Mosquera and Hincapié both stay forward. Here's Eze. He's claiming that he was caught in the face there, and there's another card out here. It's Piero Hincapié who... The Chelsea players, as you would expect, straight around the referee, asking why that's not being looked at by VAR. Certainly a foul by Hincapié, but probably not enough to be upgraded from yellow to red. 4 bookings for Arsenal. Hincapié, Calafiori, Mosquera and Zubamendi. Correa on a card for Chelsea, and of course Moises Caicedo now in the bath. Maresca's conversation with Tosin Adebayo has been sent out to warm up from the Chelsea bench. Anthony Taylor, who has been front and centre of everything so far today, is once again called in for a chat with James and Saka. But the only real talking point of the game is the amount of fouls and cards and bust-ups. Almost nothing to report in terms of opportunities to find a breakthrough. Chalobah is helped back to his feet by the Chelsea medical staff and looks as if he'll be okay to carry on. Anything relating to a head injury, of course, has to be checked and cross-referenced with a concussion review. Anthony Taylor just keen to get the game back underway here. Reece James is furious that there doesn't seem to be any further punishment or review of this one. We're yet to get an update on whether VAR are looking at this as a possible red card offence. Chalobah is okay to continue. He's just showing the impact of Hincape's arm on his face to the referee to try and see if that could possibly change his mind over a yellow to a red. It's a hell of a shiner he's got under his eye. Looks as if he's been going 10 rounds rather than 45 minutes at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are back to 10 men. Chalobah ushered back onto the field of play, and Sanchez with the long clearance. It's Calafiori there who just sees off Estival to the final minute of the first half here. And all eyes on Sam Barrett to see how much he adds on. 13 games gone. Their own club record for a Premier League campaign. Behind Maresca's team, it's a worrying aspect of their game, that lack of discipline, particularly against big opponents. Nice little work there from Saka. Manages to free Timber down the right hand side. Chalobah gets across. Corner for Arsenal. Timber and Saka have done that well so far, switching positions, and Saka will roam in field and allow Timber to race past him. It'll be Saka to take down this right hand side for Arsenal. Calafiori, Marino, Mosquera, Hincape all up, forming the Arsenal bus queue at the back post. Chelsea need to stay switched on here. James wrestling there with Jurriën Timber. Curled in by Saka. Claimed by Robert Sanchez. Goes first time with the clearance up to the halfway line for Pedro Neto. Eberici Eze will get back at right back to try and block him off. Infield into the centre circle by Neto. Gusto. Now Estival. Tries to fizz that cross in, but it's dealt with on the edge of the Arsenal box by Declan Rice. Picked up by Chalobah. Now Gusto again. Pedro Neto trying to dip and weave his way in from the right hand side and run straight into Declan Rice. And we will have 5 minutes added on. Martinelli try and roll that back into the run of Rice. Back to Martinelli! Big save from Robert Sanchez. And Arsenal to the left. Powerful running here from Declan Rice, and he just rolls it back into the feet of Gabriel Martinelli. Keeps it. And keep Chelsea on terms here. Not had a great deal to do so far, Robert Sanchez, but when he's been called upon, kept out Saka early on. That's a more difficult save than it appears, despite Martinelli just fizzing it within the frame of Robert Sanchez, where you'd expect him to make the save. Because he was already going in the other direction, it's really impressive that he just gets back and gets a strong enough hand on it and manages to keep it out. Fofana will go back to his goalkeeper. Sanchez, not for the first time today, with a bad clearance up to the halfway line, picked up by Zubimendi. And Marino will try and roll that in behind the Chelsea back line. It's a poor touch from Timber. Smacked away back into Arsenal territory, and it's a loose touch from Declan Rice, eventually picked up by Calafiori. 3 minutes of the additional 5 played. The onus will certainly be on Arsenal after the break, 11 versus 10, to just try and take this game away from Chelsea. The host will sit in, as you imagine. A draw against the leaders with 10 men wouldn't be the worst result in the world at this point for Enzo Maresca, as Fofana steams across and concedes a corner. Just need to manage these final moments of the first period, the home team. Robert Sanchez barking instructions to his defenders in front of him. This is going to be loaded in by Declan Rice over on the Arsenal left-hand side. Potentially be the final act of the first half here. First half that has had everything but a goal. Punch clear by Sanchez. Martinelli just tried to loft that first time back out to Declan Rice, but he makes a bit of a hash of it. Neto will bring it away for Chelsea. He's got Eze and Rice for company and decides to just check in field. Here's Reece James on the halfway line. Needs options in front of him. Dinks it back across to that right hand side for Malo Gusto. Arsenal back in numbers now. Pedro Neto takes over, wants to get it on that left foot. Curled in by Neto and headed away. Gusto will pick it up though. Lifted back into the penalty area. This is better from Chelsea as we tick towards the end of the first half. Saka just gets his body in between Cucurella and the ball on the byline for Arsenal. Did really well there. Didn't panic Bukayo Saka. And eventually Raya will clear it away. Calafiori won't catch that though, and Chelsea have a throw in on the halfway line. So we're beyond the 5 additional minutes that were held up by Sam Barrett. Timber goes through the back of Enzo Fernandez there, right on the halfway line and in front of Anthony Taylor, and Reece James pushes away Mikel Merino, and Taylor chooses to let that one go. So final few seconds here. Chelsea will take their time over this one. Chalobah clips it up towards the edge of Arsenal's penalty area. Pedro will battle away with Christian Mosquera. Manages to shield it and find Enzo Fernandez. He can't get away from Mosquera either. He wants to head to the corner flag here. Enzo Fernandez, and tick the clock down. Mosquera won't give it up though, and he's gone down, Mosquera. And that is certainly a bit theatrical. Enzo Fernandez just tries to bustle past him and knocks him to the floor. No foul. And Anthony Taylor, who has been right at the heart of everything in the first half here at Stamford Bridge, calls time. No goals, plenty of controversy. And the main talking point as we take a break here on Flash Score is Moises Caicedo's red card, which means that Chelsea will have to do it the hard way in the second period. At the break here on Flash Score, it is Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. We'll be back with all the second half action in just over 15 minutes.